What if Kit Fisto killed Darth Sidious before Anakin arrived in Revenge of the Sith? That's our story for today. Hope you guys enjoy, and let's get right into it. Our story begins inside of the Republic Executive Building, as Mace Windu is leading Kit Fisto, Agen Kolar, and Saesee Tiin up to the Chancellor's office. All four of the Jedi think they know what they are in for today, but as they climb the stairs and move through the halls, the dark side of the Force can be felt more than ever before. Kit Fisto could feel it more than most, as his tentacles contained extremely sensitive receptors, allowing him to read the emotions or thoughts of others at a much higher level. And Fisto was a bit frustrated, as he could tell that Anakin was extremely conflicted as they took off from the temple. But Fisto knew they just had to trust Anakin to do what was right. Part of him wished Anakin was here, but another part of him did have to wonder where Skywalker's loyalties lied. Another person Kit Fisto was feeling for was Palpatine. The wise old Chancellor has been Darth Sidious this entire time, and as Fisto reached into the Force, searching for Palpatine, he instead found a darkness that was powerful and confident. It was frightening. The Sith Lord was waiting for them. Fisto could also feel Windu, Saesee, and Agen in the Force, and all three of them had a confidence that was masking any fears that may trying to be escaping. There was no time for fear, as the doors slid open and the four of them walked in, ignited their blades, and told Palpatine he was under arrest. Fisto watched as Palpatine argued for a moment with Windu, before slowly standing up, pulling out his own lightsaber into his open hand, igniting the red blade, and without warning, Sidious spun through the air using a Force scream to knock the Jedi off balance. He cut down Saesee and Kolar, before Fisto could even begin to notice, and Sidious had to make a choice after cutting down the first two Jedi. The choice was which one he kills next. Sidious spun his blade around, clashing with both Windu and Fisto, with speed that was somehow faster than Grievous using all four blades. Fisto was quick too, and he deflected the first few strikes. But Sidious then pierced his robes, and he also made contact with Fisto's skin, and in this split second, Fisto made a choice. He screamed in fake agony, falling to the floor, slowing his heartbeat, pretending to be dead, and Sidious bought it. He simply moved through this open hall area, focusing now completely on Mace Windu. The two of them were matching up well. Fisto opened one eye, and he waited for Sidious to turn his back to him. Mace and Sidious were moving as separate blurs of red and purple, then colliding in the ultimate duel of light and dark. Fisto watched closely as Sidious got to the window, and then Fisto made his move. He quickly got back to his feet, sprinted through the office, diving at Sidious with his lightsaber ignited. Sidious blocked a strike from Windu. The Jedi Master was wearing him down, but Sidious was about to go back in when he suddenly felt it. Kit Fisto dove right across the room, lightsaber pointed forward, and he slashed right through the neck of Sidious. A final gasp escaped his mouth, and he fell dead to the ground. Windu was breathing extremely heavily, but he knew this had to be done. He told Fisto that he made the right move, despite what the politicians may think. Palpatine was a Sith, and this was the proper way to deal with someone so dangerous. Fisto nodded back to Windu, and Windu told Fisto to check for things they can use as evidence in this room, while Windu goes into the other room to see if the other two Jedi are still alive. And so the two of them separated, as Fisto checked the consoles in here, not exactly sure what he was looking for, and then he saw someone else enter the room. It was Anakin, and Fisto could feel that Anakin was about to erupt. So Fisto put his hands up, trying to calm Anakin down, as he looked from Palpatine's decapitated body, then to Fisto, and the redness of the room began to really reflect in Anakin's eyes. Anakin growled the words, "What have you done? You killed her." And Fisto wasn't sure how to respond. Killed who? But he didn't have time to respond, as Anakin now ran across the room, igniting his blue lightsaber, swinging at Fisto, who was knocked back to the window. He blocked the strike, but it was not easy. Anakin yelled in anger, and then dove at Fisto, hitting him hard, and both of them suddenly flew through the window, now sliding hard against the rounded roof, the rain and the lightning surrounding them as they both came to a stop on a platform. Fisto tried telling Anakin that he was too dangerous to be left alive. Sidious had to be defeated, but Anakin only felt failure and grief, as he was convinced that Padme would now die without Palpatine. So he reignited his blue lightsaber, and again he swung at Fisto, trying to kill him if he has to. The two of them moved along this platform on the curved roof, green and blue blades colliding in the rain, and every citizen passing by in the rainy traffic could see something was going on. The two of them reached the edge of this platform. Fisto was holding Anakin back as he pressed his blue saber closer and closer to his face. Fisto was straining, holding Anakin back with both hands, but then he closed his eyes, focusing completely in the Force, calling upon his greatest ally, water. Anakin was pressing hard down on Fisto. He was about to defeat him for good. The young Jedi wasn't exactly sure this was the best idea, but he obviously was not thinking straight right now. The dark side was still influencing him, and Anakin now thought that if he tried hard enough, he could simply unlock the dark powers needed to save Padme. But as Fisto closed his eyes, Anakin could feel a shift in the rain around them. All of the raindrops were stopped in the air, and Anakin began frantically looking around as a wave formed behind Fisto, built up of all the rainwater nearby, and Anakin tried slicing through Fisto to stop this, but he was too late. A big wave of water hit Anakin hard, and Fisto reached forward, ensuring the big wave of water take Anakin back up the roof, and Fisto lifted both hands, carrying the wave back up to Palpatine's office, with Anakin in it. And in the office, Mace Windu was looking out of the broken window, trying to spot Fisto and Anakin, when he saw the water wave climbing the walls. Windu moved out of the way as the water crashed into the office, and Anakin's unconscious body rolled across the floor. Fisto jumped back in, running at Anakin, quickly putting his hand on his chest, working to remove any water from his lungs. He was going to be alright. Mace asked what was going on, and Fisto said that Anakin came here extremely unstable, claiming that they just killed a woman. Windu shook his head in disappointment. Anakin came here to make sure Palpatine wasn't executed, and Windu realized he never actually asked Anakin why Palpatine revealed himself. And together, the two of them lifted Anakin's body, taking him back to the Jedi Temple holding cells, before clones and guards began to realize what has taken place in here. The two Jedi flew across Coruscant, mostly in silence. The night was beginning to end as the rain was clearing up, and the sunrise could be seen in the distance. Windu couldn't help but think of everything that could have gone wrong. What if Sidious really did kill Fisto right away? What if Anakin showed up before Sidious died? What if they brought Anakin with them from the start? There were so many possible outcomes, but Windu hoped this was the best possible scenario. And Fisto could feel Windu's concern. The fate of the Republic was now in the hands of the Jedi Council. In the temple, Fisto would grab a few temple guards, and together they would bring Anakin down to the holding cells. Fisto wanted to be there when Anakin woke up to find out more of what he was talking about. And in the council chambers, Mace Windu set up the council beacon, and he called for an immediate meeting. Windu's urgency encouraged the council members to join, including Obi-Wan Kenobi, who just defeated Grievous once and for all. And Windu looked to all of them. He said, "It is done. Darth Sidious is dead." Only Yoda knew it was Palpatine, and so the others began looking around, and Plo Koon was first to ask who it was. Windu revealed the truth. Sidious was Palpatine the entire time. For this entire war, the Jedi were leading an army created by the Sith, in a war created by the Sith. But it is done now. Depa Billaba looked to each open seat, and she somberly asked where Aegon Kolar, Saesee Tiin, and Kit Fisto are. And Windu said that Kolar and Tiin honorably died trying to bring down the Sith. But Fisto is alive. He is with Anakin. Obi-Wan would now ask about Anakin. How is he doing with this revelation? And Windu took a deep breath before telling Obi-Wan that Anakin actually attacked Fisto and tried to kill him before Fisto defeated him. Obi-Wan put his hand to his beard, looking to the floor before asking why. Why would Anakin do this? And Windu said they're not totally sure. He's now in custody inside the temple, but he mentioned that Fisto killed a woman when he killed Sidious. Obi-Wan knew immediately what this could mean, and so he told the council that Anakin must be somehow talking about Padme. She may be in danger somehow. So Windu would contact Fisto, and he told him to bring Padme Amidala here. If anyone can calm Anakin down, it's her. Fisto heard this, and he got onto a speeder and immediately flew across Coruscant to find Padme. And in the council, the Jedi came to an agreement. They must take over the Senate, ensure there is a peaceful, non-corrupt transfer of power to a new chancellor that will end this war. Padme was asleep in her apartment when C-3PO woke her up to inform her that a Jedi was here. Immediately, Padme was excited, hoping it was Anakin, but instead Jedi Master Kit Fisto was here. The two of them had never spoken directly, but they fought together on Geonosis, and Fisto attended a fair share of political meetings that Padme was a part of. And Fisto gave her a small smile before asking her to come with him to the temple, and he will tell her everything on the ride over. Padme quickly agreed, knowing this had to be about Anakin. She got into the speeder, learning everything that happened tonight, as Windu traveled to the home of Bail Organa. The Jedi knew that Bail was loyal to them, and so Windu wanted to tell him first, ask what should be done. When Bail was awoken, he listened to Windu, then told him about the delegation of 2000. It is a group of senators determined to remove Palpatine from power, but it appears his corruption went much further than anyone could have thought. An emergency Senate meeting would be called, as Bail and a few other members of the delegation promised to support the Jedi in the Senate. They knew the Republic teetered on the edge of chaos, and the Senate had been thoroughly corrupted by Palpatine's manipulations. Windu, with the weight of the galaxy behind him, moved swiftly to address the political vacuum left by the Chancellor's death. The Senate, however, was not unified in their understanding of the Sith's betrayal. Many senators, either blinded by fear or benefiting from the privileges Palpatine's rule had offered, questioned the Jedi's sudden intervention after Windu described how Palpatine was killed after he killed 2 Jedi and tried to kill 2 more. Whispers of a Jedi coup spread throughout the Senate halls, and factions began calling for the arrest of the Jedi. Others were just demanding answers. Windu understood that brute force, or authoritative control over the Senate, would only deepen the divide and risk the galaxy spiraling into another civil war. So he turned to his trusted allies within the Senate, those like Mon Mothma and Bail Organa, the delegation of 2000, who'd already expressed concerns about Palpatine's authoritarian measures. Together, they carefully laid out the many ways he has manipulated them for more emergency powers and staying well past his term in office. Security recordings from his office were played, and Windu presented his red lightsaber. The delegation worked tirelessly to convince their peers to expose the dark reality that had been lurking beneath the Republic's politics for years. Despite resistance from those still loyal to the old regime, the truth began to take root. Windu's careful handling of the political landscape, aided by the diplomatic prowess of Mothma and Organa, gradually shifted the tide in the Senate, and the Senate, though not entirely unified, did begin to recognize the Jedi's role not as conquerors, but as protectors of the democracy. Windu, though mistrustful of political maneuvering, used these allies to prevent chaos, and he ensured the Republic would rise from Palpatine's ashes, not as an empire, but as a renewed democracy. And ultimately, Windu decided it was not right for the Jedi to take over the Senate. They had allies here, and it would be up to them to decide what happened next. For now, Windu was just glad the Order would survive. And down in the temple holding cells, Padme and Fisto waited as Anakin finally began to wake up. His hands were cuffed behind his back as he saw Padme and Fisto, and Anakin immediately apologized to Padme, saying that Palpatine promised he could save her, but now he is gone. Padme tried to assure Anakin that she was not going to die. The doctors here and on Naboo are the best in the galaxy, and now Kit Fisto began to understand. Padme was pregnant, and it was clear now that Anakin was the father. Fisto asked Anakin why he thinks Padme is going to die, and he said he was having nightmares, premonitions of the future where she dies in childbirth. And Kit Fisto had an idea. Earlier, before Sidious died, the Force was clouded by darkness. It was hard to see anything except for the dark, but now that he is gone, the light side is returning. So Fisto told Anakin to close his eyes, try to find those nightmares now. Anakin listened, and he did close his eyes, searching the Force, and where there was darkness and pain just a few days ago, Anakin now felt the light side standing alone. The dreams were gone, and Anakin was beginning to see that it was Sidious who was manipulating him the whole time. Anakin apologized to Fisto, but the Jedi Master told Anakin it was alright. Palpatine worked for over a decade to bring Anakin to his side, the most powerful Sith in centuries, and Anakin never truly fell. Fisto would free Anakin, then leave him and Padme alone, as Ahsoka Tano and the 501st delivered Maul in the Mandalorian Vault, to be placed in the temple holding cells. With Sidious gone, Maul captured, Dooku and Grievous defeated, the war would only last a few more days under Chancellor Bail Organa. The Separatist leaders on Mustafar eventually surrendered, and the Republic secured victory, but not without acknowledging their flaws. Both the Separatists and the Republic saw how they were corrupt, and they came together to reunite the galaxy under Chancellor Organa. The Jedi would live on, thanks to Mace Windu and Kit Fisto, and when Luke and Leia were safely born on Naboo, Anakin and Padme decided they would be Jedi. Anakin was allowed to stay in the Order, and Padme wanted to continue her work in politics. So when the time came, the children were brought to the temple. Eventually, Luke would be trained by Kit Fisto, and Leia by Ahsoka Tano, who rejoined the Order after the war. Anakin and Padme would stay together, helping keep the galaxy united as Luke and Leia grew as the new generation of Jedi. And folks, that is our story for today. Always fun to highlight some of these lesser Jedi. Plo Koon is a common one, but Kit Fisto's always fun. Really enjoyed Kit Fisto growing up, his Attack of the Clones, the funny faces he makes. I enjoy him quite a bit, so Hope you guys enjoyed this video, the look in at FISTO himself. Yeah, what if he killed Palpatine before Anakin arrived? That's a fun one to explore. We've done this with Windu. I've done one where all 4 of the Masters are still alive when Anakin arrives, but decided just to really highlight FISTO and have him dive in to cut off his head, kind of like Obi-Wan did in the Kenobi show against Vader. So, enjoyed exploring that. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know what you thought down in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.